And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Saturday Night Winestream and another exciting episode of Drink with Rick. I'm Rick, and tonight, well, I have no wine. Actually, I do have a bottle of wine, but I'm not going to open and drink it tonight, and I will explain why in this slightly shorter episode. And I wanted to do this anyway because I don't want to leave anyone hanging. I know that you invest a lot of your time and energy in watching the show every night, anticipating it, and being here for the show. And I think it would not be a good thing if I wasn't being here too, right with you. And I think that I should give you an explanation as to why things are this way tonight. So I'm going to do that. And you can feel free to join me in the chat and ask me questions if you want. It's quite all right. I really don't have anything to hide here. This is not some mysterious thing. And Ed is in the chat, and I'm glad you're here, Ed. It says, Ed says, checking in now. Is anybody? I think, and I really appreciate you being here, Ed. I really do appreciate that. And I know there are others that are watching, and they will be watching shortly on the various venues. By the way, if you're joining me here, this is Drink with Rick. This is a stream of consciousness kind of show. Normally I do have some show notes. Tonight I don't have any. I'm completely winging it. It's completely off the cuff because this is really going to be a different kind of show. This is just personal, from the heart, from me to you. And I do owe you an explanation of what is going on and what may be happening here in the future, here on the Winestream. So that's why I'm doing this tonight. Also, I have a bit of a giveaway to do. I wanted to offer this to you as well, and I hope that you'll stick around and participate in the giveaway because I would really like to give something back to you in exchange for the time and the energy that you have spent giving your time to me and your eyeballs and your ears if you're watching on the podcast later. And Amy's in the chat also on Facebook. Amy says, "Happy Saturday, Rick. Been a few weeks for us. Hope you and the wife are feeling well." I really appreciate that, Amy. And I hope Dan is doing well as well. Yeah. I said, this is a stream of consciousness kind of show. Look, if you're joining me for the first time or the 163rd time, I believe it's the 163rd episode of the Winestream, I believe. I'm losing count. You can watch on any of the venues that we are there live on. You can watch on YouTube. YouTube is Drink with Rick. Facebook group, or the Facebook page, I should say, is Drink with Rick. Twitter is at Drink with Rick. You can watch live there and tweet me live also. Also on Odyssey. Odyssey is at Drink with Rick. And on Twitch, Twitch is at Drink with Rick. It's Drink with Rick 1. Drink with Rick and the number 1, all one word. And it's not an at per se. It's a, I think you go to twitch.tv/drinkwithrick1 and you can chat with me live right there. And you don't actually have to be a member of Twitch. You don't have to be joined to Twitch to watch. I think you can still watch. I think you probably have to sign up and join to be in the chat, but you can freely watch there. And we do get viewers there who are actually not joined that can go in and chat with me live. Some people do watch me on Twitch for that reason. Twitch is also available on some on TVs. We have a smart TV downstairs where you can watch live on Twitch and on YouTube as well. So just because you don't see people in the chat doesn't mean there aren't people watching it. The truth is, you never know who's watching. You really don't. Now, I do have some stats here that I can see some people that are watching, but there are some venues, like, for instance, YouTube is on the Roku, and people can watch on the Roku on YouTube. I don't necessarily see them watching on the Roku, but there are people that are watching there. There are some of the other TV things. I don't know if it's on Apple TV or anything like that, but I do know it's on the Roku. Also, the podcast. The podcast goes out at Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Eastern time on Monday nights. And you can listen, if you can't watch an hour later, you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Deezer Radio, Stitcher Radio, Blueberry.com, iHeartRadio, we're on iHeart, Amazon Music, podcastindex.org, and by email, if you click on the little blue button next to the subscribe page on the website at drinkwithrick.com, you'll see a little blue email button. You can just click on that button, put in your email address, and you'll get the latest episode of Drink with Rick as soon as it drops, and no salesman will call. And of course, you can unsubscribe at any time, but please don't. Please don't. Also, I'm not big at all on going on YouTube and Twitch and venues like that and saying, hey, subscribe, ring the bell and all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. I mean, if you're going to subscribe, you're going to subscribe. If you like it, you'll subscribe. If you don't, you don't have to. It's fine. I'm not going to beg for subscribers and views and things like that, and follows, that sort of thing. I don't beg for that kind of thing. And the reason I don't is because I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch Twitch streams. I watch streams on Facebook and things like that. And that's kind of one of my pet peeves. I know that it's a lot of the big YouTuber types that are, that say, here's how to increase your streams, here's how to increase your viewership, is to ask people to subscribe and ask people to follow and that sort of thing. But some of these people get on there and they just beg for it. And I have watched YouTube videos where the first, 4 or 5 minutes, well, first there's an ad, there's a very long ad. Somebody's pitching something on their YouTube channel. And then they say, well, before we get into the show, you like and subscribe and all this kind of stuff. And then, you kind of have to fast forward through all that nonsense to get to actually the point of the video. And it drives me nuts. I know it drives a lot of other people nuts. So I don't do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you. I mean, yes, I do ramble on sometimes. And you can at the live stream, it's hard to do that. But if you're watching the video or listening to the podcast later, you can fast forward through some of that stuff. But I'm not going to subject you to the first 10 minutes of just subscribe and like and, ring the bell and all that kind of stuff. It's just, you don't need it. I don't need it. I'm not going to do that. Now, if I seem a little bit retrospective tonight, it's because it is. Tonight, I really don't have a wine. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you the wine that I was going to open and pour tonight, just to prove that I have one. It was this. This was a Tesoro della Regina wine. It looked like a really nice wine. I was going to open it tonight, but I didn't. Partly on the advice of my wife, and partly on my own volition, having second thoughts. And I'll explain to you what's going on. And if you can all bear with me, because I do owe you that explanation. And Ed says, hi, Rick. And yeah, I did I did say hi, Ed. And Amy says, smash that like button. Yeah. You don't have to splash him. I mean, you can if you want. It's fine, but you don't have to. There's no rule. Kevin is in the chat on Twitch, and Kevin says, "Hello, hope all is well. We're here for you, Rick," and I really appreciate that, Kevin. I really do. Look, I'm doing the show tonight not for me. I mean, I don't know where to start. Actually, I really don't know where to begin. But let me go ahead and begin from the beginning. All right. As most of you know who watch the stream regularly, I took a week off or a weekend off to go to Orlando, Florida to attend Potfest. I have Potfest 22. I've got the 2020 t-shirt here, but 2022. And I actually worked part of the Potfest. I was part of the Pot crew for a day or two, volunteering for some stuff as well. And we did this because our last Potfest was 2020, and that Potfest was the last, as a matter of fact, it was the very last convention that was held in Florida, as far as I know, before the lockdowns occurred for COVID. And as a matter of fact, they started doing all the lockdowns, pretty much nationwide, as we were driving back from Potfest back to North Carolina. It was that close for us. So we had a great time at Potfest in 2020, but because of COVID, because of 2 years of not being able to attend any of these conventions, they didn't have any live Potfest going on until 2022 in May. And Tommy and I made a point, it was part of his graduation present to him. I purchased VIP tickets for him so he could, really have a great time, after the hard work he put in college, that sort of thing. I felt it would have been a really, really good, a great thing for him to kind of unwind, just have a good time at Potfest and seeing, his friends again and doing things he likes to do. So I purchased VIP tickets, and we got the hotel there at the Hilton Orlando, and we packed up the family in the car and we drove down to Orlando at Potfest. And my wife has family there. We have a lot of friends there, so we were able to see some family and friends. We were there. So Tommy and I pretty much hung out Potfest all weekend, and then we started heading back. Now, on the way back, I started not feeling great. And you kind of know where that's going. Wasn't feeling great, and by the time I got home, I was not in great shape. So we went to the urgent care. Had to go to the urgent care. Urgent care. What a name. I'm not going to go into that right now. But okay, so we went to the urgent care. We couldn't go the first day because they were. I did go to work the first day because I thought, well, it's not too bad. I was feeling a little funky, but not really that bad. But by the time I got home from work that first day back, I was feeling pretty bad. So we were going to try to go to the urgent care, but I think the way it worked out was that their scheduling wasn't. I think I had to wait and go the next day. So by the time I was not great. And then when I went to the urgent care, of course, they did the 15-minute test, and they came right back and confirmed, yes, I had COVID. Not a big surprise. I kind of expected that. And of course, I had to stay home from work. I had to work from home. I missed a day or so from just being bedridden, but I worked from home for the next couple of weeks. Tommy kind of stayed home too, and because he had been exposed, he was there at Potfest with me, and he had been exposed, and the whole family was exposed, Tia and Tommy, and my wife, my lovely wife, Chi. And partway through that, she started getting symptoms, so she came down with it too. So both of us were kind of isolated. So the whole family's just isolating from each other in the house, and we're all wearing masks and things like that. Something that I was not at all used to doing. So it was a good time was not had by any of us. So we were all isolating from each other and from the world and that sort of thing, and it was not fun at all. We were all pretty miserable in different ways. Gina and Tommy didn't show any symptoms. They seemed to be okay. They seemed to come out of it fine. Chi and I got the worst of it, and we were all vaxxed. We were all vaccinated and boosted and all that kind of stuff, and we got it anyway. It was still, and it probably could have been a lot worse if we hadn't been. I'm sure it would have been a lot worse, but it was not good the way it was. So a couple of days into the middle of this, I lost my sense of taste and smell. And I thought, well, and this happened kind of suddenly. I was, afternoon I could eat, and then that evening I'm trying to eat a chicken sandwich, and I couldn't taste it. I couldn't taste anything. And it was the weirdest feeling. I wanted to say, I couldn't say that I was panicked. I was just very concerned and distraught, because I know that some people have said that they haven't gotten their taste back for a long time after they've had COVID. They said they've had COVID, and some people say their taste comes back. Some people don't lose it, but those who do lose it, they said that it doesn't come back for quite a while. And sometimes I was talking to a friend of mine who said that their sense of taste didn't come back for several months. And that really kind of scared me a little bit, because not just because of the fact that I couldn't taste my food, but this, the wine stream that I love to do so much with you, I wouldn't be able to taste the wine. I wouldn't be able to do a wine review. And that really concerned me. I was going to say, what if my sense of taste doesn't come back for a while? I can't do the wine stream. Now, I did receive a lot of encouragement from fellow podcasters and everyone watching the stream on a regular basis that I was in touch with, and they were very supportive. Everybody here was very, very supportive, and I first of all, I want to say I really, really appreciate that. More than you can know. Your support and your kind words and your encouragement was just really really uplifting to me, and especially at a time when I was feeling kind of depressed about the whole thing. I was feeling kind of rotten anyway, but a bit depressed too. So everyone who came with encouragement, for one thing, Chris Kremitzos, I want to say, was very encouraging. Ed, my good friend Ed Anthony here, a lot of encouragement and a lot of great ideas and feedback on how I could continue the show even with my sense of taste gone, my sense of smell gone, and I really appreciate that, Ed. And I think someone else I want to mention is Glenn the Geek. Glenn, who does the Horse Radio Network, another fellow podcaster and a friend of mine. He was very, very supportive. He had COVID as well, and but yet, as bad as he was feeling, he was really supportive of me, and I really appreciate that, Glenn. I really do. I thank you very much for that. A number of other people that had stepped up and really, Tom and Nancy, thank you very much. And a lot of other people. Tom was very, very helpful, offered a lot of helpful suggestions. All in all, I got better, I got better, and I made a recovery from COVID pretty much, and my taste has returned. I can't say it's 100%, but it's about 90%. It's enough for me to taste the wine. But that isn't really why I'm not doing the wine tonight on the wine stream. And once again, for those just joining me, I could have just, and I don't like to do this, I could have just said, hey, I'm not going to do the wine stream a couple of weeks and few weeks and just put up a card or something, or maybe not said anything, and then everybody's wondering, well, what happened to Rick? Where'd he go? I'm not going to do that to you, okay? As long as I'm alive. If something like that happens, you probably know something happened to me, and I can't contact you or let you know, okay? So it'd have to be something pretty serious. But as long as I can, as long as I'm able to get up there, I'm going to come back and do this and talk to you and let you know what's going on, because you're part of the show. This isn't just me. You're part of the show, and you should know what's going on. You deserve to know that that's part of the deal. You're investing your time and your eyeballs and your ears to watch me and listen to me ramble on about whatever. It's the very least I can do is to keep you in the loop and let you know what's going on. And feel free to ask me any questions. Anybody in the chat, just feel free to ask me any questions if you want. It's fine. I'm not hiding anything from anybody. Barnstar's in the chat, by the way, and Barnstar, proper Barnstar, says, glad to see you back, Mr. Rick, and that you're taking it easy. Good to hear your family's well, too. Thank you, Barnstar, and I hope you're doing well also. I hope you and Kevin and everybody on Twitch is doing well also. I do want to say that everybody has been extremely supportive here. I did say that already, but I want to reiterate it again, because you have no idea how thankful I am for you, and for you watching and listening, and for your kind words and your words of support. Thank you very much. You have no idea how uplifting it was and how encouraging it's been for me. I really do appreciate it. Now, my wife is recovering. I think she's pretty much recovered at this point, and pretty much back on her feet. But she had a really rough time of it too. Now, when I had the COVID, they gave me Paxlovid, which is a really strong drug that still kind of in an experimental stage. I mean, they're giving it to people, and they kind of fast-tracked it, I guess, to be approved for use, I guess for limited use, but it did come with a whole big page or several pages of possible side effects and all that sort of thing. It's pretty scary stuff. I was thinking, man, I don't know if I should take this, but I was feeling so bad that my wife said, you should take that. So I started taking it, and it did help me feel better. My wife, she was not able to get the Paxlovid in time, because you have to take it within the first 5 days, or you can't take it. And so she had to sort of suffer through the whole bout. And I feel so bad for her still. Felt so bad for her having to go through that. And I feel responsible, because if it, I could have been more careful. Although I say that, and a lot of people say, no, it doesn't really matter. A lot of the other attendees got COVID as well. It was there were other people that had it, and some people that are still going through it. And they said, don't know that there was really that much you could have done. But I do still feel responsible, and I don't know. I just feel bad for my wife, and sorry that she had to go through that. I'm just thankful that my kids seem okay so far. I'm really thankful for that. So, getting back to why I'm not doing the wine stream tonight. And Ed says, oh, yeah, so Ed's, okay, he's, I heard the dings. Okay, I've got some messages up here. Oh, so Ed can't see the stream. Oh, I'm sorry you can't see the stream, Ed. It's okay, it's just me. It's just a talking head here going on. I do have something I do want to show you later on. If you get to a point where you can watch it, then please take a look later on. I'm going to show this to you in just a little bit. So anyway, the reason that I'm not drinking the wine tonight is because in the course of the COVID and the Paxlovid and all that sort of thing, I did get better. However, something else happened. I have a pre-existing condition I've had for many years. I have diverticulosis, which for those who are familiar with it, for those who don't know, it's not a lot of fun. For those who do know, it's not a lot of fun. Without getting into the particulars, diverticulosis is a condition of the intestinal tract. And I had a case of acute diverticulitis at one point that sent me to the hospital and put me in and kept me bedridden for a couple of weeks. This was some years ago, and was, had a colonoscopy and all that after I got better, and it was extremely painful, not a lot of fun. Wasn't fun at all. Well, the COVID here cleared up, and one of the things about COVID is that it can cause, if you have a pre-existing condition, it can aggravate that sort of thing. And in my case, it's aggravated my colon. And I haven't been officially diagnosed with diverticulitis. That's because I haven't had a chance to go to the doctor yet to get that diagnosis. But I know the symptoms. I know them very well. And I'm trying to watch my diet right now to keep that at bay. Because sometimes if you have symptoms of diverticulitis, early on, you can change out your diet and do some things, and that should help those things, the symptoms subside, and give it a couple of weeks and let your colon rest, and you should be okay. I'm hoping that's going to be the case in this case. So I want to try to head this off the pass a little bit. I don't know. I've been in a little bit of pain last couple of days, and it doesn't seem to be getting worse, but it doesn't seem to be getting better. It's just there, and it's not just annoying, but it's rather concerning. So one of the things that can add to the inflammation and can add to or can aggravate the condition is alcohol and wine, of course, and beer. So while I'm on this bit of a diet, changed up my diet a bit, I'm drinking a lot more water. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have some right now, because it's important. It's very important to stay hydrated in a situation like this. It's always important to stay hydrated too, and I hope you all are staying hydrated during the summer months, especially. It's been so hot, and we have heat waves going on in a couple places. Stay hydrated. And I've been drinking a lot of water, not because I feel like drinking water, because to be honest, I haven't had really any desire to drink a lot of water. I mean, just not beyond what I regularly drink. I'm not super thirsty all the time or anything like that, but I'm just drinking it because I'm supposed to. I kind of have to keep that hydration up. So that's And that keeps me up at night too. Won't go into the details on that, but it does. But I'm drinking a lot of water. So no wine. I'm not drinking wine right now. Now, I'm going to have to do this for a little while. And that's where this little discussion comes in. Because of this, I'm going to have to stay off the wine for a little bit, and any kind of alcohol, which means that I'm not going to be able to do any wine tasting, no wine streams per se in that respect. And Drink with Rick, the Saturday Night Winestream, is not the Saturday Night Winestream without the wine, right? Or some semblance of it. And no, I don't think non-alcoholic wine counts. I haven't investigated that. It just occurred to me just now, but I don't think that counts. So for that reason, for the next couple of weeks, I'm not really going to be doing the wine stream. Once again, I'm guessing for a couple of weeks. I don't know for sure until I go in and see what the doctor says. Hopefully I can go in Monday morning or Tuesday morning and see what the doctor says about it. Maybe it's not quite that bad. And it could be a couple of weeks. It could be a month or so. I really have no idea. But I wanted to tell you this right now to prepare you for it, because if I'm not back for a few weeks, I want to let you know I'm going to come back. I'm planning on coming back, okay? I'm planning on being back. I just don't know when. Could be a couple of weeks. Could be, I don't want to say a couple of months. Could be a month or so. I don't know. I'm hoping it's a couple of weeks, maybe less. I have no idea. But either way, I think it's important that you know what the situation is, and that you know that I'm going to do my very best to be back as soon as I can, as soon as I'm able, as soon as it's okay or safe for me to do so. But for now, I'm going to have to take a break, to take a little break from the wine stream. Now, just because I'm taking a break from the wine stream doesn't mean I'm not sitting around doing nothing. I'm going to be doing a lot of other things. I have a few other things lined up, and some things that are related to Drink with Rick on the website. I want to get back to the chat for just a moment because I want to catch up. Because Barnstar says on Twitch, Barnstar says, my mom 81 and has a rare. My mom is 81 and has a rare autoimmune condition where her immune system can go into overdrive. So she is very wary of COVID. So your account really hits home for me. I hope your mom's okay right now. 81. Wow. That is an age where even if she doesn't have any any conditions going on, even so at that age, that's one that you really, really have to be careful of anyway with COVID. So I wish her well, Barnstar, and that is something that you really have to watch. That you have to be careful. Take care of your mom. Definitely take care of your mom. We only have one mom, right? We only get one mom, and got to take care of her. I wish I still had my mom. She passed away some time ago, but your mom, it's good that she's still there. Take real good care of her and keep an eye on that, because the thing is about COVID is that the cases are subsiding, or they have been subsiding, and people are kind of doing things back, not back to normal, because there's no normal anymore, it seems, but they're kind of back to some semblance of normalcy in a lot of places. I know not everywhere, but in a number of places. But it's still out there. And this is a sort of thing where it can crop up anytime, like the flu or the common cold, so to speak. It just kind of comes up, and people are going to get it in the future. And it's pretty much with us to stay, from what I've been told, from what I've heard.
This isn't going to go away. I mean, the genie's out of the bottle, so to speak. It's... I hate to use that analogy. It's Pandora's box has been opened. And once it's been opened, it's out there. It's pretty much here to stay, from what I've been told. So we just have to kind of learn to live with it and deal with it, and hopefully it'll come to pass in some time that it will be no more serious than just getting a common cold. Hopefully, I mean, that's what I don't know who they are, that they have been saying, whoever they are. And I hope whoever they are correct. I hope they're right, because I'll tell you what, I don't want to go through this again like the way I did. If we can have a few days, a few sniffles, and be over it, that's fine with me. Better if I don't get it ever again at all. But if it's something, it becomes something light and mild, that would be great. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We have no idea. So it's best to always be kind of watching, be careful on your guard. I don't think we should be paranoid about it, but, we should be on our guard and just kind of be mindful of that sort of thing. Barnstar says it's important to stay safe and sober during this time. I agree with you. And wine is only half of the wine stream. You are the other and better half of it, Rick. Oh, Barnstar, I so much appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if I deserve that, but I thank you for it. Much appreciated. Your kind words. And Barnstar says, thanks, Rick. Always taking care of her the best I can. That's right. Take care of your mom. And I hope she lives to be well over 100 for many years to come. My aunt, my aunt Connie, my kid's great aunt, she lived to be 103, only 104, I think. And she passed away, I think, just before her, I want to say it was before her 105th birthday. We did a nice little memorial tour on the Winestream last year. But she lived to a very, very old age, and still in the kitchen making her spaghetti, her sauce, what she called her gravy, her tomato sauce for the spaghetti, and the meatballs about the size of a softball. Just it's what I remember about my aunt Connie. But she was pretty active and a pretty feisty old lady. It's kind of like kind of in some ways, I guess maybe like Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies. I mean, she was full of life, and had a fighting spirit, and she lived to be about 104. And I hope, Barnstar, I hope your mom lives to be as old as, if not older, at least as old, and lives a long, happy, healthy life, and free from COVID. I tell you, I don't. After having had COVID, and they say, whoever they are, who is this they they're always talking about? They say that that at some point everybody's going to get COVID at some point in time, so we might as well just deal with it. I don't like to take that approach to it. If you can keep from ever having COVID, I think that's better. Don't you? And Ed, so you're not able to see the stream at all? Are you on Facebook, or you're not able to? It says unable to tune in with you in spirit. Thank you, Ed. Where was I? Oh, and Dan is in the chat. Dan's in the chat and says, "Hi, Rick. Cheers, my friend. Hope you all are well. I'm doing better now, except for the concern I have of diverticulitis flare up, but that's why we're not drinking the wine." Ed says, I'm only getting a phrase at a time, hanging on your every word, but don't have reception. Frustrating. AC is iffy at home, and I'm at a friend's to cool off, and I'm not receiving you well at all. Wishing you well, of course. Well, Ed, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope the AC gets better. See, Ed's in Florida, and it's pretty hot in Florida right now. It's pretty hot here, too. In Charlotte, we're expecting 100 degree. Well, I think we had a day we had 101 or something like that last week, and then went back down, or 97 I think it was. They're expecting 100 degrees or better this next week, but I can only imagine how hot it's in Florida right now. Having lived in Florida for many years, having been born there, I know it gets pretty hot. So if the AC goes out in Florida, that's a pretty serious situation, Ed. I hope that you get that taken care of pretty soon, because well, it's not good to be out of AC, to have the AC out anywhere, especially in Florida. And so, well, I'll do my best to keep this concise so you can hear, so you can catch as much as you can. Christina's in the chat. It's great to see you, Christina. Thank you for being here, and I hope you and Jim and everyone's doing well. And Christina says, super duper hot here. I can believe it. How hot is it, Christina? How hot is it? Must be well below, or well above, I should say, well above what we're having here. We had a pretty nice day here. It went down to 87, and that was because we had some rainstorms, but they're saying it's going to be really hot again in Charlotte. You know, interesting thing, one of the reasons that we moved to Charlotte from Orlando was, this was back in 2007, I should say. And one of the reasons we left was because my wife couldn't take the heat anymore. She said it's just too hot, too humid, too hot. We got to go. That was one of the reasons. There were other reasons as well, but one of the main reasons. And we moved up here. In the summer that we moved up here, we had just moved up here to Charlotte, and we were saying, okay, great, it's going to be a little bit cooler, it's going to be fine. And then we had this heat wave come through Charlotte that year. I think they had a drought and a heat wave. And we came in from the frying pan into the fire, literally. I mean, it was hotter in Charlotte that year, that summer, than it was in Orlando where we left. It was hotter. So, and I at some point I said to Chia, why did we come up here again? Yeah, it's been pretty hot all around. I hope you all are doing something. Okay, so Christina says today's high was 97. Wow. Yeah, I believe it. Let me say this about Florida. It's not. Okay, it's an old saying. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. But that's very, very true. It can be 80 degrees here. It can be 85 degrees here. And you really won't break a sweat outside. But you can go down to Florida, and it's 85 in Florida, and you're just sweating up a storm because because Florida's humid. It's, you've got a peninsula there. It's covered. It's surrounded by water on three sides. So with all that humidity, that's what it's almost like being in a steam room sometimes, and it's just going to make you sweat. And I remember going out to mow the lawn in the middle of the summer in the Florida heat, and you really had to stay hydrated there because it can catch you off guard. You're mowing the lawn for 10, 15 minutes, and you're just, I would come in just completely soaked and have to change clothes. And go back out there and finish them on the yard, and then come back in and change clothes again, take a shower and change clothes. A cold shower, because it would just, the humidity would just get to you so bad. And Christina says, yep, yeah, It's that humidity that gets you. And you can have 85 degrees up here in North Carolina, and because it's drier most of the time. We've had humid days too, but because it's generally drier, you can stay outside and it's really not that bad. You say, oh, it's only 85. That's very comfortable, really nice. Well, of course, when you get up to the 90s and you get up to 100 degrees, it's hot. No matter where you are, it's hot. And so, Dan, tell me how you're doing, by the way. I'd like to know how you're doing. And Barnstar says, oh, I'm curious as to whether or not it is okay for you to drink coffee during your recovery. That is a very good question, Barnstar. And once again, everyone, you can feel free to ask me questions. If you have any questions about any of what we discuss, feel free to do so. It's fine. And I'll do my best to answer them as best I can. The question about coffee. No, that's a very good question. And you're not really supposed to drink coffee when you have diverticulitis either, because that can aggravate it, because coffee is, in a way, is kind of a diuretic, like tea. And coffee can kind of irritate. If you have a couple of cups of coffee, it can kind of irritate. But I did have a cup of coffee or two this morning. I did, because I really have to have my coffee. I went for a week and a half without any coffee, and I can deal without the wine for a while, honestly. But the coffee in the morning, especially if I'm going to work, I have to have a cup of coffee. I have to have a good cup of Joe and start the day off. And I am known for having 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day. My usual is 3 to 4 cups. I'll have a cup of coffee home. Then if I drive into the office down in Rock Hill, I get to the office, I have a second cup of coffee. Sometimes if my boss Danny, he comes in and we're going to talk about a couple of things. He say, hey, let's go up and get a cup of coffee. Hey, we're going upstairs. I'm having another cup of coffee, because that's what I do. I drink a lot of coffee. And then almost noonish, I'll have a 4th cup because I can, because I'm concentrating on when I'm writing something or doing what I'm doing, and next thing I know, hey, I'm out of coffee. I need some more coffee. Another cup of coffee. Yeah, I do drink a lot of coffee, but I had to cut it out for a little while, and I'm probably gonna have to cut it out again for a while because of this. I'm gonna have to cut it down. I might take a sip or two in the morning, but I'm not really supposed to be drinking it, no. And Algorithm is in the chat. Algorithm, it's good to see you. It's been a while. It's great to see you in the chat. How are you doing? And Algorithm says, hi, Rick. Do you have brothers and sisters? I do. I have, I'm the eldest of 6. I'm the eldest of 6, and my sister Gina, who actually started me on this journey on the Winestream. And my sister Gina also is a wine lover, a wine aficionado. She likes wine. And then I have a brother, Michael, who is in Japan. He lives in Japan with his wife. He's lived there for, I don't know, about 30-some-odd years or so. And then my brother Tony, who passed away in 2006, the year before we left Orlando. He passed away of cancer. He had cancer. That's another reason why I have to be careful and watch myself and keep an eye on things if things are not good, because my family has a history of cancer. My mom passed away of breast cancer in the early 80s. My father passed away from cancer when he was 84. That was, it's been a little while. I guess 2017, I think 2016. 2016, he passed away from not colon cancer, but he had cancer, and my brother Tony passed away of cancer in 2006. So it's something that the rest of us. I have another sister, Penny, and who's a great person, and she's in the chat a lot too. From time to time, when she can watch the stream, she gets in. My sister Gina and my sister Penny both in the chat oftentimes. As a matter of fact, my sister Gina's in the chat right now. Gina says hello. I can just verify he has at least one sister, and it's great to see you, Gina. I love my sisters. They're both really great people. And they've raised some great families, and it's just great to see them both here. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to see either one or both of my sisters here on the stream and in the chat, and drinking with me when I'm drinking. And Gina says, we love you too, thank you. And she says, Dad had bladder cancer. Yes, that's what he had, was bladder cancer. That's true. I was thinking bladder. I don't know why I wanted to say pancreatic cancer, because I think that's what Tony had. And anyway, so we all, the rest of us, and I have another brother, Paul. Gina says, oh, Tony had kidney cancer. You're right. Granddaddy had colon cancer. My granddaddy had colon cancer, and my brother Tony had kidney cancer. Excuse me. Thank you for correcting me on that, Tia. See? And I haven't had any wine tonight. I have no excuse for messing up, because I haven't. Normally I can blame it on the wine, but I cannot blame it on the wine. I can't blame it on the water. That's just me. It's just me. Gina says Tony had kidney cancer. Yes, he had kidney cancer. My brother Tony was just a great guy. He was just a super guy all the way around, and I wish everybody could have gotten to know him. He was probably one of the nicest and coolest guys I've ever known, and I miss him. We all miss him terribly. My grandfather, my granddaddy, who had colon cancer, he was. Also, I tell you, yeah, we have a history of cancer in our family, so it's something that we watch carefully. And hopefully, this is wood, by the way. I think it's laminated. Hope it's wood. Not that I'm superstitious. It's anyway. So. Because of this, I'm trying to watch my health. I'm trying to be very careful about this, and having what may be a flare-up of diverticulitis right now, I'm having to stay off the wine for a couple of weeks at least, maybe a month. So if you don't see me around for a month or so, it doesn't mean I'm not around. It just means I can't do the live wine stream for a few weeks while I get over this, and then I'm coming right back. Okay, I'm going to do my very best to get right back to you, because I know that you have invested your time to spend it with me, and I don't want to disappoint you in any way. And it's much appreciated, really it is. And I do want to do this right now before I forget, because I'm going to close this up here shortly. But I do want to do this before I forget about it, because I almost have. As I was saying, just because I'm not on the wine stream doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. My good friend Ed, one of his helpful suggestions that he made while I had COVID, we were discussing this, he said that, why don't you do this? Why don't you put something up on your site where you list all of the wines that you have tasted, all the wines that you reviewed with the ratings? And I thought, that's a great idea. Thank you, Ed. That's a great idea. And Amy says, sending healing energy your way, Rick. Thank you, Amy. Thank you very, very much. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to, as a matter of fact, I started doing this already. Let me see if I can pull this up. See if I've got the right. Do I have the right webpage? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So there's the Saturday Night Winestream. There's one page. That's not the front page of Drink with Rick. But on the website, okay, you have the wine stream, including this. I don't know if it's showing this. Is showing the current one? Yeah, there it is. That's the one that we're doing right now. Okay. For those who are listening to the podcast, you can't see it, but I've got it up on the Saturday Night Winestream page at drinkwithrick.com. Okay, the podcast, of course, the podcast is there. We've got the podcast page. Now, we've got the blog, which hasn't been updated in ages, as you can see. But this new item that Ed suggested I do is something called wine reviews. And this is what I'm doing now. I started with the very first episode where I reviewed, Gina, I think you'll remember that one. Let's see. Is it on this page? Probably on the next. I've only done about 16 of these so far because it takes a little while. I've gone through some of these. Let's see. Oh, there you go. The very first episode, which started it all, the collection. This was a wine from Target. And I reviewed it and I gave it a rating. And what I did was here, and this was Ed's suggestion, that I put up all of the wines that I've tasted and reviewed over the last 3.5 years and post them with a rating so people can just go up there and see at a glance what I think of each of those wines. So I've gone back through my archives. This has been kind of a project, by the way, Ed, and I really appreciate I do listen to you. I listen to your suggestions. Gina suggested a couple of wines to try. I have done that and reviewed them. I've done a few things, actually, beers and things like that. People have suggested other things, contests and whatever, and we've done some things like that. One of the things that I'm doing now is this. And I'm going to be hanging on to it for so long, but this gives you an idea of this project. Now, this is kind of a big project for me because, my memory being as it is, let me get back to there we go. My memory being as it is, I can't remember vividly every single wine I've tasted, every single wine I reviewed. So what I've had to do is I've had to go back through the archives and had to listen to myself on the podcasts and watch a few of the streams and gone back and listen to the reviews I did of the wine. So that's what these are. I've gone back and spent a number of hours. The first 16 are up, but trust me, it's taken me hours and hours to get those first 16 up because I would have to go back through my archives, through the podcasts, and listen to them and listen to my early reviews. I'll tell you, some of those early ones are cringe-worthy too. Not to say this one isn't, but when I say I started ugly, I'm not kidding. I started ugly. It was... Some of them are cringeworthy, and I don't think I really found my groove on this show until we got to episode 28 or 30 when I started getting a groove, and it still wasn't perfect. I've come so far since then, and I still feel like I have a long way to go in terms of presentation and everything else. So it is always appreciated that you come in and hang out with me. It really is. Because I tell you what, listening to 16 hours, actually it's more than 16 hours. Some of those things are 2 hours long. Listening to hours and hours of me talking, I don't know how you do it. Frankly, I don't know how you do it. Listening to me talk for 20 some odd hours in those first 16 episodes was excruciating for me. I was. And I've got 140 more to listen to catch up. 140 some odd more. So, and Ed says a technician is coming Tuesday morning for the AC. I'm glad to hear that, Ed. Wow, it's a shame that it would have to take so long, right? because you're going to be sweating there for a couple of days before he gets there. But I hope it gets resolved soon and without a lot of cost. I'll tell you, AC, especially these days, it can cost a lot to get the AC fixed. I hope it's not going to be anything serious for you. And Dan says, all is well. Thanks for asking. No, thanks for being here, Dan. Thank you very much for being here. On Twitch, Barnstar says, yeah. Oh, I got to catch up here. I got on a rant. I'm sorry, folks. So, Lovely's in the chat. Wow, Lovely's in the chat. It's great to see you, Lovely. I'm sorry I missed you earlier, but thank you for being here. Tell me how you're doing. I stopped in on your chat the other night. It was last night, I believe, and I couldn't stay. I was making the rounds around Twitch, see who was there, and unfortunately I couldn't stay because it was pretty late for me, but I did enjoy the time that I had there. And Algorithm says, does he like Japan? Have you been there? Why does he live in Japan? My brother, you're referring to my brother Mike, who lives in Japan. He likes Japan. My brother has been around the world quite a bit. He speaks about 6 or 7 languages, and he went to Italy. He lived in Italy for a little while, and he thought he might stay in Italy and marry an Italian girl, and then I think he went to Japan and liked Japan better. I'm not sure exactly why, but Japan's actually you know what? I watch NHK with my wife. NHK is the Japanese news channel there, and it's fascinating. Some nights, late at night, we'll just be nodding off to sleep, and we'll turn on NHK because we can get it on the Roku. And there's a lot of stuff on the NHK network that's really fascinating because they don't just talk about the news that's going on in Japan, but a lot of cultural things that are going on in Japan and tours around Japan. A lot of Americans live in Japan. A lot of Australians live in Japan. There are people from South America that live in Japan, and England. Great Britain, New Zealand, people from all over the world that go to Japan to work and live, and that tour Japan quite a bit, and a lot of them love it. And there's a lot to like about that country. That it's a beautiful country out there from what I've seen on the NHK network. Some really beautiful country. I wouldn't mind going to Japan sometime. I would love to go to Japan. My issue is surviving the plane trip out there because it's a long trip and I don't do well on planes. I never do well on planes. So I got plane sick, air sick, or whatever you want to call it. I do not do well on planes. But if I could, I'd go out to Japan. I'd love to see the country sometime. One thing that I've gotten into is sumo wrestling. I always thought that was, I talked about this before. I used to think sumo wrestling was, people say that, sumo wrestlers, aren't those, a bunch of fat guys in diapers that are throwing each other out of a ring? I guess, yeah, it's one way of putting it, but it's probably not the best way to put it, really, because I used to think the same thing, but after I would start watching the NHK network and they'd do this thing, they would broadcast sumo wrestling bouts, and the first one I saw I thought, well, this is weird. And then I started watching it, and I said, I got to watch this again. And I would watch them, and the more I got into it, the more I got into it. And it was, and then I started doing some research on sumo wrestling, and it is quite a culture. This is a real serious sport, and there's a lot to it, and there is there is a whole culture to this that is really fascinating. And there are Americans that go out there and do sumo wrestling. And in fact, it's only recently that they've allowed Americans to compete in sumo. And because for traditionally that has been the official sport of Japan, official Japanese sport, and it's been sort of closed to just those who were born and raised in Japan. And it's just been fairly recently that they've allowed Americans into the sport. But it's kind of popular, I should say. Yeah. Time for some more water, right? By the way, just because I'm not drinking wine doesn't mean you can't. You can drink whatever you want. I'm drinking the water tonight. You can drink wine, beer, tequila, rum and coke. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my son, Tommy, we went to Potfest. We went to the bar, and the first night we were there, and I said, Tommy, I'll buy you a drink, because he's 22 now, and he can drink. And I said, what would you like to have? And he said, well, I don't know. What do you suggest? And I said, well, I know there's some things you don't like. Have you ever tried a rum and coke? And he said, no, I don't think I've never had a rum and coke. I said, why don't you try one? So he had his first rum and coke, and I ordered one too. We both had a rum and coke together at the bar. And then he said, this one's on me. And my son bought me his first rum and coke. That's basically. It's kind of cool. It's kind of neat having your son buy the drinks. I said, I got to do this more often. So I hope that answered your question, Algarith. And Lavely says, she's talking to Barnstar. Barnstar says, do you have a decent backlog of wines lined up for future streams? I'm working on it. And as a matter of fact, I had one for tonight's stream. The one that I'm going to do tonight, I'm not going to do tonight, that I was going to do tonight was this one. This was supposed to be the Tescoro della Regina. That was the one that I was going to open tonight until my wife and I talked about it and said, maybe it's not a good idea to drink any wine for a couple of weeks. And so this one's waiting in the wings. As a matter of fact, it's down here somewhere. And I have some other wines that I have planned. I'm still looking for a Greek wine, by the way, for a gentleman that was in Twitch before that suggested a Greek wine and said, have you ever tried a Greek wine? I said, no, but I would love to. I have been searching around for Greek wines and have not been able to find any. I think they might have some at the Total Wine over here, and my next trip down there, I'm going to make a point, and I'm going to see if I can try my first Greek wine. I've never had a Greek wine that I can recall. And Barnstar says, whoa, going back over 100 streams to track down each wine is pretty extensive. It is, and especially when I'm having to listen to my own voice doing it for hours and hours. But I'm going to get there. I'm doing a few every week. 16 was a bit of a marathon. I think I'm not going to try that again anytime soon. But Lovely says, you're fine, no worries. I'm good. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for stopping in the other day. Hey, it was my pleasure, and I'm glad you're here, by the way. Always glad to see you, Lovely. And Lovely, hey, by the way, for those on Twitch who are here, can I do this real quick? This is okay. I don't normally do this. And Barnstar says, what a great father and son story with Tom buying you the rum and coke. It was great. Should do that more often, definitely. Barnstar says, don't think I ever bought my dad a drink, and now I regret it listening to that. I understand. I have regrets in regards to my dad, too, that I couldn't do more of, but a lot of that was his and not really mine. But you got to move forward. You can't worry. Sometimes I think about my dad, and I think about all the things that I should have, would have, could have. But it comes a point in time when you're past that, and you just have to kind of have to resolve and move on and things. And I know that's not any consolation for you, Barnstar, but I know how you feel. I've been there. and still there sometimes. But anyway, where was I? I was talking about something. I see this, my stream of consciousness going off on another track here as well. Let's see. Let me get my thoughts together for a while. Throat's drying. Time to have some more drink. Got to keep the water up. So where was I? Maybe somebody can refresh my thought. I got really sidetracked here because I do not have show notes. So let me catch up here a little bit on Facebook. Gina says our brother in Japan, she's referring to Michael, said he would never marry. He said he would never marry an American girl because, in his words at the time, and this was the late 1980s, so maybe he feels differently now. But he said, they're too much like you, Gina. They're too independent. I know a lot of Japanese women who are wonderfully independent, so hopefully he's updated. Yeah, that's right. He did say something like that to I do recall him saying something like that to me once. Or maybe I heard it through you, but it seems like, it sounds like something he would say. Yeah. So, Algorithm, I hope that answers your question there. So why he moved and why he stayed in Japan. Gina says, maybe we should all pick up that wine and be ready to discuss it with you. Tessera, say again. Oh, we bought dad wine. Gina says, oh, we bought dad wine. Yes, I bought dad wine too. We all bought dad wine. My dad. I don't think my dad was not really a connoisseur of wine. He just liked to drink wine. He liked to drink and wine. I don't think my dad ever met a wine he didn't like. Let me put it that way. Am I off base on that, Gina? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I'm doing my monk thing tonight. All right, so I definitely lost my train of thought on this. Oh, yep, there is one thing that I did want to show you. Okay, this is before we go. Yes, I was talking about the website and the wine. So I'm going to continue this project with the wines. There is one thing that I do want to do, starting right now. I want to show you this. Well, no, wait, that's not what I want to show you. Where's my other... That's the wrong photo. All right, let me go back and find out what I did with it. I did something. Oh, I know what I did with it. It's on camera 3. It's sitting right here. It's sitting right next to me. It's on camera 3, and it's been waiting here on camera 3. Here it is. Okay. I know this is not much of any consolation at all for not doing the wine stream for a couple of weeks coming up. But I wanted to do something for you. And you know how I love to do giveaways, okay? I love to do giveaways. This is camera 3. I have some books to give away. I have some other stuff to give away, a couple of t-shirts to give away, but I can't give them all away when I'm going to be off in the stream for the next couple of weeks, or hopefully it's only a week or two. But I can do this. I'm going to give away these. Yes, I got some more of the Drink with Rick by popular demand. I've got some more of the Drink with Rick coasters, if you're familiar with these. The Drink with Rick coasters. And everybody who has received a Drink with Rick coaster, or a pair of them from me in the past, has commented on how much they like the coasters, how much they love them. People really like these coasters. I ran out of them late last year. And I didn't really have a chance to get some more made until I went to Potfest. When I went to Potfest, I had some more of these made to take out there, and I gave a bunch of them away at Potfest, but I reserved a lot of them here. I didn't take them all with me. I set aside a whole stack of them. I said, I want to make sure that everybody who can get one. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send out 2 free Drink with Rick coasters for the first 10 entries received by June 30th, 2022. And this is what this means. I'm going to explain this. I'm going to give away 10 sets of 2 coasters. And this is how it's going to work. It's limited to per person. And this is for the continental U.S. only. Now, unfortunately, for those who are outside the U.S., I'm not going to be able to send them out to you because I'm not going to be able to afford to do it. I've been through this before, and it's really tough. And I'm sure you'll understand for those who in England and in for that Square guy in particular, the last time I sent him something, it took like 3 months for him to get it or something. It was ridiculous, and I was concerned he wasn't going to get it. I've sent a couple things out to England, and I don't even know if they ever got them or not because they never got back with me. So for all I know, they gave up and said, oh, I guess he never sent it, and said goodbye. I don't know. I did send them out. I just don't know if they ever got there or not, because I have no way of tracking it out, after it leaves the continental United States. So for this reason, unfortunately, I can only do this to the continental U.S., but this is how it's going to work. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope to me, and I will stuff that envelope with 2 of these Drink with Rick coasters and send it right back to you. So it's going to be free. I mean, just the postage stamp. I think last I checked, postage was, 58 cents? Here's the kicker, though. I understand that July 10th, I think it's July 10th, that the post office is going to raise the cost. They're going to raise the cost of a first-class stamp for 1 ounce letter to 60 cents. Now, right now it's 58 cents. They're going to raise it to 60 cents. So that's why I'm doing this by June 30th. Get your stamps in now. So you can get it at that 58 cent cost, so it doesn't cost you any more for this. But otherwise, aside from the stamp, the coasters, I'm sending these to you for free. Okay, I'm just giving these to you for free. And this is how it's going to work. If I get back to camera 3 here. All right, so it's limited 2 per person. I'm going to send you out a pair, but now I didn't say per family. Okay, if there are different people in the family and they want to do it, they can do it. Don't worry. I'm not going to hold everybody to that too hard. I'm just saying limit 2 per person. Okay. If there's a different person in the family who wants a set of coasters, they'll need to send in a separate self-addressed stamped envelope. Okay. But I'm generous about that. I'm not going to be stingy about it. I want to give these away. Now, this is what you do. You get a self-addressed stamped envelope and send it, mail that in. I guess it's going to cost you more than that because you have to send in the envelope, the self-addressed stamped envelope. You're going to have to mail that to me, but in another envelope. You can fold it up and put it in another envelope. It's fine. But a regular number 10 envelope is fine. They should fit in that just fine. Send it to Savoya Media Coaster Offer. Savoya Media Coaster Offer. If you're not sure, if you're listening to the podcast, it's spelled S as in Sam, A, V as in Victor, O-I-A, Savoya. Savoya Media, M-E-D-I-A. Savoya Media Coaster Offer. I don't think I need to spell that part. 6420 Ray Road, and that's spelled R-E-A, Ray. 6420 Ray Road, Suite A1, number 209, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28277. I'm going to read that again for those who can't go back and listen to it again. It's Savoya Media Coaster Offer, 6420, 6420, Ray Road, REA, Ray Road, Suite A1, number 209, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28277. Now, for those who can see it on the screen, it looks like it says Suite AI. No, this is not artificial intelligence. That's a 1. That's just the font. That's a 1. Suite A1, number 209. So, once again, for the continental U.S., just send in a self-addressed stamped envelope anywhere in the continental U.S. And this is how I'm going to do this. I'll show it to you. See, I've got a self-addressed. Well, it's not self-addressed. It's not addressed. I got a stamped envelope. This is how it's going to look. Okay, just send in a number 10 envelope. I'm going to stick a couple of these in here. There's no stamp on it either, so these are going nowhere. And they should fit nicely in there, seal up, and then I'll send it right to you. The first 10 that I received, excuse me. The first 10 that I receive by June 30th, 2021. I need to, well, you know what? I want to say received by June 30th, but I'm going to change this on the fly because if it's postmarked June 30th, I think it should be okay, right? If you got a stamp like one of those forever stamps on it, that should be fine, right? Forever stamps, I think they honor those even after the postage goes up, as far as I know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not the USPS. But as far as I know, that's what I've been told. So if you send it to me, the first 10 that I receive that are postmarked by June 30th, because the thing is, I might not receive it for 10 days. It might be way past June 30th. So if they're postmarked by June 30th, and I should probably change that. Let me see if I can change that on the fly. Can I change it on the fly? I don't want to see postmarked. Let's see if I can change it on the fly. If postmarked by June 30th, 2022, how about that? I think I can do that. Entries postmarked. There we go. I think that's better. Let me see if I can get that on the screen here. Okay, so the first 10 entries postmarked by June 30th, 2022. Is that better? Does that work for everybody? I think that's more fair. Because who knows? You might send them out. You might send them all out, and then I might get them till July 30th. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? So let's say postmarked by June 30th. Does that work for everybody? Okay. All right. Gina says truth. Okay, we're talking about Dad and the wine. Truth, you're not off base. Yeah, my dad never met a wine he didn't like. Am I still on this camera? I still am. So Barnstar says, ooh, love your coasters, total collector's items. Yeah, Barnstar, you have a set of coasters, as a matter of fact. But I know that the coasters do last a long time. They're fairly durable. But and I have some here that I've had for well over a year. But I will say that they don't last forever. Unless you seal them up in something, and they probably still don't last forever. I don't know. There's one that's very well worn, front and back. And thank you, Barnstar. So, since they don't last forever, this is open to everybody. Barnstar, Lovely, whoever's in the U.S., I don't know, Lovely, you're in, I got to be able to do something for you, Lovely, in that respect. Let me see what I can do for you in that respect, because I don't want you to miss out on a set of coasters at some point. Got to do something there. All right, let me think on this, and I'll get back to you on that one, Lovely. I'll get back to you. In the meantime, Algreth, are you in the U.S.? If you're in the U.S., you might be able to do. If you're not, get with me. Let me see what I can do. I just don't want to. I hate to leave anybody out on this sort of thing. I don't want to leave anybody out. There's just some things I can't do, but I don't want to leave everybody out. A short story of my dad. Getting back to what Gina and I were talking about, my dad and wine. I remember for his was his birthday? No, it wasn't his birthday that time. It was, I think it was his birthday. So he came by to see us. It was close to December, so it was during the holidays, and his birthday came around that time too. So we bought him a birthday gift. We bought him a nice set of like a wine set, like for wine accessories, and I bought him a really nice. It was almost a $50 bottle of wine. And I thought, I know he'll appreciate this. This is not a cheap bottle of wine. This is not $2 Chuck or anything like that. It's not it's not one of those those $4 bottle of wines at the supermarket. This was like almost a $50 bottle of wine. So we wrapped it up nice and neat, and we gave him this gift, and he opened up the accessories, and he thought, the nice accessory set, thanks. And then he opened up the wine, and he goes, bottle of wine, okay. And I'm like, that's the reaction. Of course, he didn't know the labels, and I kind of had to explain to him, well, this is a special wine. Special wine. I didn't go, because I didn't want to tell him how much it cost. I figured he could look it up or whatever. He could find out or figure it out himself. Little did I know. So later on, I asked, I recall asking him, I said, you ever drink that wine? How was the wine? And he goes, yeah, it was okay. That was like a $50 bottle of wine we gave him. My sister has a couple of stories on that too. I'm not going to relay them tonight. But she has a story or two about that. But that was my dad. So Algorithm says he's in Canada. Oh, you're in Canada. Algorithm says paste the address in the chat. Okay, let me see if I can paste the address in the chat. I don't know if I can do that right offhand. Let's see. I'm on, because I don't have it in a text form for. Maybe I can. Let me see. Okay, I'll put it in the chats where I can. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what no, it didn't work. Let's try that again. I don't know if I can cut and paste out of this. I've tried to do that before. You know why? No, I can't. I'm working on two different systems, so I can't. I don't know what I was thinking. So maybe I can slide in the chat later on after the show. Let me check some of the other venues just to make sure that I'm not missing anybody else here. Okay, we're good. I think we're going to close it up here about now because it's been a while. Yeah, it's been an hour and a half. We're on our cutoff point. But I want to once again apologize for the situation as it is, and that I'm not going to be here for the next couple weeks live doing this with you, and just to keep in mind. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to be around. The website, drinkwithrick.com, I'm going to have the website up. I'm going to be continuing to post the previous wine reviews there. And I'm also going to do some more blogging. I think I'm going to update the blog quite a bit. It'll give me a chance to. I haven't updated the blog in a while. It'll be a chance for me to blog some things, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's needed for the site overall. But I do want to let you know, to reiterate, that as far as I know, this is only a temporary situation. I haven't talked to the doctor yet, but as far as I'm concerned, this is a temporary situation, only for 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully no longer than that. And as soon as things are back to somewhat normal, I'll be back streaming, and I'll let everybody know. I'll post videos and let everyone know about it. So I really appreciate your patience and your time, and I appreciate all your concern. Everybody has been great, and you've been so supportive, and it really means a lot to me. I do appreciate it. I can't do this stream without you. Now, I'm going to continue with this as long as I can, because, be honest, I enjoy doing this. I'm going to miss doing this for the next couple of weeks. I've missed it for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's not because I didn't want to do it. It's because I basically couldn't. But I've really missed doing it. It's hard to hit the stop button because I just enjoy being here with you. And I hope you enjoy being here with me. And I appreciate your time. So we're going to close it up now. For a time, for a little while. In the meantime, I want to bring out my good friend Roadkill Bill. And you know Roadkill Bill, he's Roadkill Bill. And of course, his message is, don't drink and drive. Drink in the comfort of your home, your apartment, your hotel room, your dwelling, whatever it is. You know the rules. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a cab, call a friend, or just stay put. Do not drink and drive, please. It's extremely dangerous. And think of others as well as yourself. I know you have enough self-respect not to do that, and I know you have the consideration for others that you wouldn't do that to them. I know that you won't do this. I'm speaking to the choir here. That's just my little PSA. And bills. Don't text and drive either, because that's also dangerous. Because I want you to have a great week. Most of all, I want you to have a safe week. So you can all join me here again next time when we all get back together on the Saturday Night Winestream, and we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.